Karen had always been nosy, but this time she went from annoying to criminal. She'd bragged at the last HOA meeting about how luxury cars don't belong in modest neighborhoods. I knew that was aimed at me. My Lamborghini was my pride and joy, a bright orange Huracan I'd worked years to afford. Every time she saw it, she'd sneer. One Saturday night, she made her move. I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of tires crunching gravel outside. My cameras lit up my phone screen. Karen herself, dressed in all black, crouched by my driveway. She had gloves on and a crowbar in hand. "She's not really doing this?" I muttered, hitting record. Karen pried open the door, climbed in, and tried to hotwire the car. She clearly had no clue what she was doing. The alarms didn't go off because, well, she didn't know the Lamborghini wasn't really there for her. See, I'd been working with the local police for months. My car was part of an auto theft task force operation. They'd outfitted it with GPS trackers, hidden cameras, and even remote immobilizers. To thieves, it looked like an easy score. To cops, it was bait. Karen finally managed to roll the car down the drive, whispering to herself, "This will sell for at least $200,000. HOA will finally get what it deserves." I just shook my head. "Lady, you're digging your own grave." The tracker pinged the police instantly. I stayed put on my porch with a cup of coffee, watching the live feed on my phone. The cops were already moving in. By the time she reached the main road, squad cars were trailing her. She didn't even notice, too busy grinning like she'd just won the lottery. Then, flash, sirens, lights. Karen panicked, swerving across lanes. She screamed, "You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president." The officers weren't impressed. Over the car's speakers, the immobilizer kicked in. The engine shut down, the steering locked, and the Lamborghini coasted to a dead stop in the middle of the road. The police yanked her out within seconds. On my phone feed, I heard one of them say, "Caught in 4K, Karen. You're under arrest for grand theft auto." By the time I drove over to the station the next morning, she was already sitting in a holding cell, looking like she'd swallowed a lemon. I asked the officer on duty if I could retrieve my car. He smirked. "Your car's fine, but the video of her stealing it? That's already going viral on the department's social media. Guess who's famous now?" I leaned over to where Karen sat glaring at me. "Hope you enjoyed the ride." "Oh wait, you didn't even make it a mile." The HOA board tried to spin it later, claiming Karen had been inspecting for community safety. Nobody bought it. She was charged with attempted grand theft, destruction of property, and misuse of emergency authority. As for me, my Lamborghini came back spotless. The cops even detailed it for me as thanks for helping with the sting operation. And every time I drive through the neighborhood, people wave, while Karen hides behind her blinds. Last year, I had to spend 6 months overseas for work. Before leaving, I made sure everything was secured, fences repaired, and cattle tended to. I had a ranch hand checking in weekly. Everything was in order. But when I returned, I didn't recognize my own land. Where my fields once stretched, there were rows of cookie-cutter houses, sidewalks, streetlights, driveways, and bright banners that read, "Welcome to Oak Ridge Estates, Phase 2. 138 brand new homes, built directly on my property." I nearly ran my truck off the road. I stormed straight to the HOA clubhouse, where Karen, the president, was sipping iced tea like a queen on her throne. "You've got 10 seconds to explain why there are houses on my land," I growled. Karen smiled sweetly. "Oh, don't be so dramatic. The developer decided to expand, and your ranch land was perfect. Don't worry, you'll be compensated once the sales finalize." My blood boiled. "You built on MY property without consent. That's trespass, fraud, and theft." Karen laughed. "You weren't using it. Now families will enjoy it. You should be thanking us." I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just walked out because I knew something she didn't. See, the developer who originally built their subdivision? I'd gone to school with the CEO, and while the HOA thought they were cozy with him, they forgot one important detail. Their contracts only covered the lots already sold. They had zero rights to expand without purchasing new land. And they hadn't purchased mine, which meant every one of those 138 houses was sitting illegally on my ranch. I called the CEO. "Hey, you might want to check your records," I told him, "because your company just built phase 2 on land I still own." There was silence on the other end of the line, followed by a panicked, "What?" I sent him the deed, the surveys, and the aerial photos. Within hours, his legal team descended on the HOA like a pack of wolves. Turns out, the HOA board had forged documents claiming they had development rights. The contractor never verified ownership, they just built. That single mistake triggered one of the biggest lawsuits in county history. The HOA was sued for fraud. The developer sued them for damages. Homebuyers sued them for selling illegal lots. And me? I sued for land theft. In the end, the HOA was completely bankrupted. Karen and her board were personally liable for millions. Their homes were seized, their assets drained, and their reputations destroyed. As for the 138 new houses, the county condemned them. Some were bulldozed, others sat empty, rotting shells of a failed scam. My ranch hand and I tore down the cheap sidewalks and fences, and I reclaimed my land. Today, when I drive past that part of my ranch, it's peaceful again, just wide, open fields. A few remnants of driveways poke through the grass like scars, reminders of what Karen and her HOA tried to steal. They thought they could take my land while I was away. Instead, they lost everything, while I gained one of the most ironclad property rights cases in county history. My ranch stood long before their HOA, and it'll still be here long after they're gone.